glass stands half finished on the table. Lipstick on the rim. I lift it to my lips and drink. Refill it and drink. And drink. And drink. And drink. And now, aglow, enfevered, bold, a plan starts hatching in my head. Let's see. 40-odd francs in my pocket. That's some cigarettes and a meal somewhere along the line. Now as much warm clothing as I can find into my rucksack, drain the last of the bottle and dash to the station, the Gare d'Austerlitz, from which a train leaves every night around midnight for Lisbon. And here we are. Here's waiting. Le Sud Express, platform 3. 23 hours. 23 23h45, and it's 11:45, Orléans, Limoges, Bordeaux, Hendaye, San Sebastian, Valladolid, Salamanca, Guarda, Lisbon. This is it. My transport awaits me. I've slipped past the guard on the barrier. It was easy. He was distracted by a lost-looking fellow wanting to know where he could buy a ticket. I've climbed aboard and am leaning from the window. The platform's crowded with Portuguese immigrant workers returning to Lisbon for Christmas. Good. All this confusion should make things easier for me. I fish a small bottle of brandy from my pocket, take a swig. I'm ready for anything. And now, a whistle blowing, and the train, with a jolt, with a clank, is in motion, and I, resigning myself to my fate, am stowing away without credentials, except one. My burning love, which no one will subdue, and which will get me to my destination, Solini Pala's side, at all costs. Stowing away on a train means keeping a constant watch. You cannot afford to be lax in your vigil. A moment off guard can cost you everything. You must be ready to move, to become invisible. There's no rest, though you must feign serenity, and sleep, except in the very centre of the night, is out of the question. It means being forever in the corridors, eyes darting from one end of the carriage to the other for the dreaded sight of the guard's uniform. It means to feel apart, alone, hunted. You find yourself with prayers upon your lips. There is a God at such times. There has to be. One thing I know for sure, Venus will be smiling upon this amorous plight of mine. 36 hours I'll be in this state of anxiety. I have earned my ticket, if I get there. Let's see, 36 hours with overtime and déjeuner. I'll have earned the price of the ticket several times over. Let anyone tell me I don't work for a living, because I damn well do it at times such as this. I've made a thorough inspection of the carriages. There's not a nook or a cranny where I might hide. Even the spaces under the seats are blocked off. If only there was somewhere I could put myself and leave myself, that I could hole up in. I could hold out for 36 hours, could creep out in the dead of night for a piss. But these wagons are completely stowaway proof. Damn the makers of them. Damn the petty, mean makers of them. Hiding in the lavatories is one way. I've done that before. But on shorter runs, and I've often got away with it, having learnt the trick of making the thunderbox look unoccupied. But as often as not, one gets caught run to ground like a fox. No, on a long run like this, my chances would be slim. I'll have to find another way, and quickly. We've been hurtling into the midwinter's night already a good half hour. The inspectors must surely be getting busy by now. Oh, shit, what am I going to do? Nip of brandy, I'll fire my brain. Yeah. No, think quick. Where are you going to hide? How about on the roof? Crikey, the roof! Open the window, bitter wind, stars, ice, cold metal. How can I climb up? It's crazy. Yes, but I've got to hide. Hey, these railings and steps outside the door. Eureka! You know, it's those old trains. They had the railings down, and a couple of steps leading down to the platform. Not like that these days, but it wasn't those. And you could open the door by yourself. It should be simple enough. Upon the approach of the guard, I'll open the door and step out into the night, grabbing the rails as I do so, of course. Pull the door to behind me and crouch down on the steps, my head below the level of the window. I'll hang there for as long as it takes the official to pass. Ha! The petty mean makers of these carriages didn't think when they were fixing these steps that one day a man mad with love would be hanging from them and getting a free ride from Paris to Lisbon. A swig of brandy, a pirouette on my toes, a clap of my hands, ole! Nothing can stop me now. We're already some way south. The hour advanced, and the merriment in the train all but subsided, when I spy the guard working his way along the carriages, looking into the compartments and punching tickets. Hope you won't be punching me too. Anyway, I open the door, catch hold of the railings, feel my way down onto the lowest step, and close the door behind me. I'm oblivious at first of the icy wind cutting at me along the side of the train, but it's not long before my hands, gripping on for dear life, dear life, become painfully aware of the numbing cold, and it'll only be a matter of minutes before they seize up. The ground streaking beneath me like a rushing river that will dash me to death should I fall. I tuck my head into my chest and pray, not to God, but to the Almighty God, that he should not dawdle or pause at this window to smoke a cigarette and stare out into the night. Pray, God, hurry. My hands are numb with cold, and I cannot hang here forever. I raise my head cautiously to the level of the window and peek in. I've done it. I've done it. The guards' uniformed figures disappearing through the dividing door into the next carriage. I fumble at the handle and clamber back inside. I've done it. My plan's worked. I jump up and down, stamp my feet, clap my hands to get the blood flowing, and take the final shot of brandy. The train's cascading through the black midwinter's night, clattering on the lines and shuddering, like me, in its whole being. I stand at the window and light a cigarette, gaze at the reflection of this strange beast in the glass. Through it a glowing city looms up on the horizon and is snatched away again by the night. The sky in the east is paling, the dawn lights extinguishing the stars one by one. I am awoken by my own shivering, lying doubled up and uncovered on the compartment seat on which I'd finally laid down exhausted. Bonjour, monsieur. It's an old woman who's spoken, sitting opposite me, outlined against the brightening sky through the window. A little girl lies with her head in her lap. Ah, bonjour, monsieur, madame. I hope you slept well, she says kindly. Yes, very well, thank you, madame. It's true, though I can't have slept more than 2 or 3 hours. I feel marvellously refreshed. Fishing in a bag lying at her feet, she produces a thermos. So now, would you like some coffee to wake you up? Oh, oui, madame. I sit up and she hands me a cup of sweet, milky coffee, piping hot. How good it is. Are you going far? She asks. To Lisbon, madame. Ah, so you're going to my country, eh? You're Portuguese? Yes, I'm Portuguese from Porto, in the north. Now I've made my life in Paris. My husband, you see, he went there for work. We went there many years ago. And when he died, she crosses herself, I stayed there because we had a house and life is easy with a pension. And, you know, in Portugal things have always been difficult. Now there's been a revolution and things are changing, getting a little better, but still, life is hard. People poor. But my son lives in Lisbon, and my granddaughter, Kiki, she strokes the child's head. She is a Lisbonese. The little girl's gazing at me with wide eyes. Will it be your first visit to Lisbon, monsieur? Yes, first time. The first time is always the most unforgettable, and it is such an enchanting city. More coffee? Oh, yes, thank you, madame. She refills my cup. Muito obrigado, senhora. I add a little coyly. Ah, you speak Portuguese? She exclaims with surprise. Oh, just a little, bocadinho, senhora. Que maravilhosa! Delighted, she clasps her hands together over her breast. I remember so well Selina using that expression and making that very same gesture with her hands. It's like an expression of rapture. Have you studied our language, monsieur? Oh, no, I don't know. I only speak a little. I learnt it from friends. You have Portuguese friends? Yes, madame. In Paris? Yes. And will they be in Lisbon now? Yes, for Christmas. And you will stay with them, of course. Yes, I will. You will love Lisbon, monsieur. And especially now, when it will be full of lights and music. Everyone is so happy at Christmas time, and you are young. I lived there once as a young woman. Oh, yes, I too was young once. No, not always was I the old lady you are looking at now. I was beautiful too. Maybe, young man, a glint's come into her eye. Maybe you will meet someone in Lisbon, and you will never want to leave. The coffee has warmed me through and through, as has the conversation with this congenial old lady. Her presence is imparting to me a sense of safety, of protection. But I can't tarry here too long and lull myself into a full sense of security. People are beginning to stir and moving to and fro in the corridors. There could well be an early morning inspection. I'd better get back on watch. You are going, monsieur? She looked surprised at my sudden departure. Yes, but of course, she looks through the carriage window. You must have sensed it. We're arriving at the frontier. The frontier. A spasm of fear shoots through me. I'm going to have to be on my toes, gathering into my demeanour and my voice all the calm which I feel a million miles from. I begin to take my leave, expressing warm thanks for the coffee and wishing them both a bon voyage, an agreeable journey. Au revoir, monsieur. Adieu. And she winks at me. Good luck. Agonizingly slowly,